In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down some full court presses that you could use that I've used that make other coaches go, huh. Anyways, some of these are pretty common while others are going to be very rare and kind of janky. So let's get down, let's check these out. Really quickly, if you're looking for a really good half-court set defense or zone defense, my unbeatable zone defense, what's down in the description, is amazing and confuses a lot of teams because basically what happens is it's a double team in the low post and it traps the corners. So definitely go check that out. Okay, so the blue team is the offense in this video and the red team is the defense. And what we're going to start with is a 1-1-1 and then 2 zone. And the idea here is player 3 gets that ball and player 1 is going to be shadowing. Player 2 then, of course, goes in bounds, and in most press breaks, they generally want to try and push either to half court or reverse the ball to try to get the ball up the middle. Well, at this point, we're not worried about these two players. Player 2 is going to be sort of shadowing here, so if they try to push the ball to the free throw line, he could try and intercept that. But at this time, player 5 is going to be moving over towards this player on that sideline so that that pass is not there. The only option there is to either dribble up the sideline or to pass to player 2. Ideally, the defense wants you to pass to player 2 because now he's either going to dribble into player 2, which will be a double team between players 1 and 2, or they want player 3 to dribble up the sideline so that player 1 and 5 can trap right here. If they were to dribble up the sideline, most of the time what you will probably see, and player 2 is going to be being no far forward than the ball, so at this time if player 3 starts dribbling up, he starts sinking back. And player 5 is going to be shadowing this player. If he moves down, then player 3 starts shadowing, player 4 takes middle. At this time, player 2 is still guarding middle, player 4 is guarding middle, player 5 is getting ready to trap, and player 3 is guarding this down here. Now at this point, if they try to reverse the ball, we're still in good position because player 2 is still covering middle. If they try to dribble up the middle, player 1 will then, of course, cover. Player 4 can then start moving over, potentially guarding player 4 blue. Player 5 takes middle, or he could be covering over here. Player 5 needs to be making decisions on the fly. Now, of course, if they beat it, they beat it, but what this zone is trying to do is to either get that 8-second call or to trap along the sideline and half-court line right there. And of course, whatever happens on this side is the exact same. What I just explained on this side is going to be the exact same thing on that side as well. So if we set this back up, and let's say they reversed that ball, then player 1 goes and covers. We're still back in our zone. If they try to push over here, then because player 1 would have to be playing from behind, I would much rather have player 2 cover, player 5 cover over here, and then player 3 covering middle and player 1 covering middle here. So the zone would then switch or rotate over to those spots. Again, player 1 tries to take sideline, which is what we one of the options that we kind of want. Player 4 would then move down, and then player 4 red would move over. This would be yet again another trap. And players 3 and 1 would be then watching half court. Because if the team is smart, they're going to know that down the middle is going to be probably the best option. But we are now taking away the middle with players 1 and 3. This is actually a very effective zone and very effective full court press that I've seen this year. And in fact, it actually worked extremely well. It actually got a team a 20-point lead right off the bat within seconds, actually within about 2 minutes. Now, one of the crazier presses that I've seen is a 1-3 trap or zone trap, but instead of running it in the half court, or instead of running it as a 3/4 court press, this team ran it all in the half court of their opposing team. So the only option that the other team had was a long pass to the other side of the court. And if you've got a really, really fast player back there, he's going to get that interception easily because this is a long, high pass. And obviously, if you've got lower ceilings like the team did when they were running this, you can't make a long pass anyways. Because we play in a facility up near Toronto that has about a 20-foot, 19-foot ceiling, which isn't very good for either long shots or long passes. So you can actually get away with zones like this in in areas, or at least on courts, that have a low ceiling because there's nothing to really worry about. And basically what would happen is whether these guys cross like my press break or not, doesn't matter. They get that ball into the corner. Player 1 traps, player 4 traps, player 5 moves down, player 3 covers this side, player 2 moves over to then cover the middle. Now I know that some teams will have player 2 move down. That's a long distance on a full court press. I would much rather, and this team actually ran it this way as well, would rather have player 5 cover because that's a shorter distance than all of this, and player 2 then covered middle. Again, this is a very long pass. This is covered. This is going to be covered, and player 2 gets in because player 5 is generally a big, strong player. He can body that man, and that's gone as well. And that basically messes up the other team literally right away. And that press was ridiculous. The other team could not even get the ball more than one pass because everything was covered. They covered the short distances very well. And, of course, any long pass was hitting the ceiling. So it worked really well. Now, a janky press that I actually run, and if you want, you can go check out down in the description or check out my website, which is also down there as well, because I'm going to be posting my playbook that I have with all of my teams down there as well. But this is a janky zone that I like to run, or a janky press that I like to run. Basically, players 1 and 2, they're going to be pressing the ball, whoever gets that ball, and they're going to be trying to trap it. So let's say player 2 gets it. Player 1 and 2 are going to be both on that ball. Now, if they reverse, these two players are going to be following that ball, so this ball has to be moving fast. If it's not moving fast, it's going to be a double team. They're either going to get there 8 seconds, or it's going to be getting up past half. Now, the bonus here is there's so many, especially young teams, that they have in their mind, which, of course, you want to teach players to always go up middle, but with player 3 covering middle, if they try to push to middle, and player 3 is fronting that middle man because that's that zone, player 5 and 4 have their zones as well, and when that's the case, with player 5 getting covered, if they try to push them or pass the ball to the middle, which just say most teams will teach to push the ball up middle, they're going to get that ball intercepted. So this is a great zone for younger teams if you're allowed to run a zone. I am at the levels that I coach at like a U11 age, so 10-year-olds, but this is actually quite effective. Anyways, make sure to go check out my Unbeatable Basketball Zone Defense book down in the description below, and I'll see you guys again next time. Hit that like button and subscribe if this video has helped you and your team.